resume my recording. So why use generative AI in the classroom? Again, as I was saying, it allows our students to show what they know in innovative ways. And I'm going to show you some of those ways. I'm going to show you all of the different AI skills, and I'm going to let you practice because it's really fun. It's actually the future. So it offers a huge array of time-saving and imagination-sparking possibilities, right? AI is rapidly changing. When I think about AI, I think about a year ago, it was just kind of coming out or it's been out. It was just kind of, nudging its way into education. And now I look where we are a year later and my mind is blown, right? But generative AI is really different. That is all about creation and imagination. And these digital tools are crucial to our students' success, whether our students are career or college bound. We know that employers are looking to hire people that are creative, right? Creativity is such an important life skill for our students. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to give you a quick tour of the Adobe Express Learn Lab. The link is right here if you want to take it off the screen, but I'm going to pop into it myself, and then I can even put the link in the chat if you would like to see it that way, or you are more than welcome to just watch along with me, engage in whatever way works best for you. But right now, what we're going to do is go to new.express.adobe.com/learn. And what I did was I just took a screenshot so you can see right here what it's going to look like. So again, if you've been in trainings with me before, you know that I switch back and forth between my slide deck and the platform because I feel like learning in the platform that you're going to be using, hopefully, is going to be beneficial to all of you. So this is your Adobe Express for Education platform. Now, everyone is able to have a free Adobe Express account, but educators and students get the free Adobe Express for Education account, which is actually the Platinum Premium version. So I like to say anybody can have a free Adobe Express account because it's true, but only those teachers and educators and people who pay for it and students get that premium account for free. So that's what you all have. When we take a look at the dashboard, it's over here on the left-hand side. And what I was just telling you is we're going to click into the Learn tab right here so that I can show you some of the amazing features in this Learn tab. So if you've never looked here before, the Learn tab is full of all kinds of real quick videos and articles to, like the title says, help you learn more. There are categories up at the top. Of course, you can skim down and take a look, but if you're looking for something in particular or something specific, look up here at the top. Today, our session is all about generative AI and digital skills. So if I click on this right here, there's a real quick video of how to use text effects to create an extraordinary headline. So this is something that you might choose to explore during your work block today. But there's also all kinds of other really, really wonderful features here in the Learn tab. The first one is a tour of Adobe Express for Education. So I'm going to click on it to show you. It's a video. It's about 3 minutes. I'm not going to have you watch it here with me now, but I do want to draw your attention to it for later. So when you come back to Adobe Express, when you're kind of playing around with it, if you are new to the platform and this is the first training that you've had with me and you want to look around, play this little video because in only 2 minutes and 30 seconds, it's going to show you where all of these tools are. To get back to the home page, I always just click back on either this rainbow A or depending on my screen, I can type right on the button that actually says home and it has the little home icon. I'm going to go back to my slideshow for a minute. And the first thing I want to show you are all of the built-in generative AI content that we have on the home screen. So you can see I've listed 5 things here. There's an ability to remove the background of pictures, generate objects, insert objects, generate templates, and generate text effects. And I'm going to show you some of those things on the platform right now. So the very first thing we always see, and our students always see when we log on, is this changing screen. And this is all about creating beautiful images with AI. This screen, not only does it change, but this screen is updated. And so there's always a seasonal picture in there too. So if you were with me on any of our October trainings, there was a Halloween scene in there. Now you can see we have the koala, we have the woman, we have, it looks like a rabbit with wings, but then we have the winter scene as well. Whenever you want to interact with any of the generative AI features in Adobe Express, you can access them in multiple ways. If you want to play with generating images through text, you can use this. But as always with Adobe Express, there are lots of ways to get to the same thing. So you can click in here to create, or you can click down to the bottom, or scroll rather, down to the bottom of the screen. As you scroll down to the bottom, you're going to see these purple boxes start to appear, and there are 4 of them. It's down at the bottom of the screen. These are all of the different things you can do with AI. The first one here is generate text effects. This is incredibly cool because you can get your text to look a certain way. So let's say that I was doing a project. We'll take this one right here. I was doing a project of the moon, or my students were, and I wanted to make sure that everything I wrote, that my title, let's change the word, there it is. So I wanted to have the title of my project be moon, but then I wanted all of my letters. It says, tell us what you want it to look like. Let's try another one. Here's slime. I want this to look like, now I'm going right back up here. I typed my word. I'm going right back up here and I'm putting slime and I'm going to hit generate. Watch what happens. Well, nothing is happening right now. Let's see if I can do slimy. Oh, all right. Let's try it this way. Whoops, I spelled that wrong. Green slime. Look at that. And then here are other slime effects. So there are tons and tons of tons. Your imagination is the only limit with text effects. I could type my name. I'm going to make this a little bit smaller. Let's go in here and let's adjust our text so that my name fits on the line. And then what I'm going to do is, and this is something really fun that you can do with your students, I want now to have this represent something about me. So I typed my name. Now what I can do is down at the bottom, I'm going to hit generate text effects. And at the top, I'm going to put flowers. I want my name to look like flowers. Watch this. And if I don't like that one, I can look down here at results and I can change it. There are different results. Maybe I don't even want to have a border. So that is text effects, and that is incredibly fun for our students to do, and they can do it with anything that they're creating. So for instance, if I go back home and I want to create a new project, I can hit the plus sign. Let's say that I'm going to create a poster, and here I have a blank poster. I'm going to put some text on here. So I'm going to put the title of my poster, and maybe the title of my poster is going to be plants. Okay. So I'm going to add my text. I'm making this pretty basic. Let's make this bigger because it's going to be my title. I make it really, really big. All right. And now I'm going to move it up here. Now, this is kind of boring. I want to use generative AI to really jazz this up a bit. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to scroll, and always at the bottom of my text box is generate text effects. Now, when I click that button, you can see it made it a little bit bigger. I think what I'm going to do now is I want plants. I want my plants to be on plants. Let's see what it generates. And look at that. And it gives me a whole bunch of choices if I don't like this one. And I do like this one. I can move it around. I can switch it. I'm going to center it a little bit more. And that's text effects. So that is the first thing that I wanted to show you. A fun way to get your students playing around with this is to have your students generate name tags. And they can play around with the text, and they can play around like what I did when I wrote my name, and I had it be in flowers. But students can do this with any text on any document that they are creating. I'm going to go back home, and I want to show you the next thing. So I'm going to scroll to the bottom.
I'm sorry. Can
No.
they easily do that with like one letter? Like, can you just highlight one letter and then change it or no?
So you can, the easiest way to do that is to make like two separate text box then. Do you know what I mean? So if I was going to, let me go into your stuff, which is my stuff. The easiest way to do that would be to just kind of do one letter at a time, if that makes sense.
Uh-huh.
So first you would type your P, and then in a next to it text box, you type LANTS and then just change the P. Because what happens when you select the word is the whole word, excuse me, is going to take on that text effect. So if I wanted to do it this way, let me show you, because that's a great question. Add your text. I could do P for plant, and then I could add another text box. Let me just move this so it's out of the way. And I could do plant. Okay. So then I'd put it up like this. I would obviously make it bigger.
Mhm.
But then I could just do the text effect on the first letter.
Okay, perfect. All
Yeah.
right, thanks.
Of course. Of course. No, I love the questions. All right. So now what I want to show you, so I'm going to scroll. I'm sorry. I always hate scrolling on Zoom. I'm sorry for the scroll, is generate image. This is awesome. This is where your students' imagination can really run wild. And not only do students have the ability to create something kind of wild and outlandish, but also they can create something that they can't find a picture of. I want you to look at these descriptions. These are descriptions that were put into this box, and these were the creations. So towering and majestic, roots that stretch deep branches. Look at this one, an isolated iron lighthouse shining. So you could do something silly, or you could do something realistic. So for example, generate an image. A beautiful, oh my goodness, I can't type, covered porch with hanging plants and a rocking chair. Let's see what it generates. It always takes a minute to generate the image. Look at that, right? So if I didn't find exactly what I was looking for, I could have the generative AI make it for me. And I want to point out a couple of things. It always generates multiple results in case the first one wasn't what I was looking for. And then what you can do is you can play around with the content type. So this automatically generated something that looked real, okay? But I could also, if I wanted to, I could change that to graphic. And I want you to see what it's going to come up with if I change kind of the content type, because it does change it a bit, which is kind of fun depending on what you're looking for. So now it's more like a sketch or a drawing. And again, you can see that there are different ones. All right. So it is a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun for students to do. It's great for all ages, but for some of our younger students, even if they have to do this as a teacher-led experience, it's a fantastic way to teach our children about details and about word choice. All right. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Oh my gosh, I'm looking at these comments right now. I've used it for my students to create our monster lesson. I love it. Vocabulary introduction. Yes. Oh, I love it. I'm going to go back home again, and I'm just going to show you where you can find this. Now, I'm going to pop back up to the screen, but if you go to the bottom, it's the second one down, generate image. But look, it's also the very first thing right here. And you can see the description, a magical wonderland, a koala in a hot pink astronaut suit, futuristic woman in a beanie hat. So not only can you find it down below, but the generate image is the very first thing that's going to pop up on the Adobe Express for Education page. All right, I'm going to go down again. And I want to show you one of the other things, generate template. So if you've taken courses with me before, or you've played around on Adobe Express, you know that the templates is one of the best things on here because there are over 100,000 different templates, literally for anything you could ever want to find. And I always recommend my favorite way to search a template is the search bar, right? But we have Thanksgiving coming up next week. But let's say we wanted to have I can never type, Friendsgiving dinner. All right, instead of Thanksgiving, Friendsgiving. So I put it in there. Look at all these that come up. And if you've played around with Adobe Express at all, you know that once you click on a template and you hit customize, now it's yours. And everything is editable. I want you to notice something. When I hover over this, you can see how it's all selected. If I click on this, I can, let's see if it's going to let me. I can usually, it's not letting me do it here because this is one image, but I can unlock or I can ungroup things. And that really, really helps. All right. But everything is editable. Oh, I want to show you it was right there. It just came up. Let me get it back. See how it says ungroup? The reason why you might want to group something is when you group it, you can move all the pieces together as one. But if you want to edit it, you might want to ungroup it. And when you ungroup it, then you can go in and you can make all your changes. Well, what does that have to do with Gen AI, you ask? Sometimes maybe you don't find the template that you're looking for. Maybe you want to generate your own. And you can see here. So let's say a Friendsgiving dinner with dogs. Welcome. Let's see what it generates for us. So now it's going to do the same thing. It's going to generate this for us exactly as is. Someone just put in the chat, how do our students access this? The same way. The Adobe for Education account is free for all students, and their account is going to look just like yours. So they are going to access this the same way you are after they sign up for their student account. And here you can see these are some templates that were made. If I don't like these templates, I can regenerate them. But even if maybe I liked a part of it, so Friendsgiving woofs, I could click on it. My template would be loading. And as you can see, look at everything I hover over is editable. So maybe I like this dog's welcome, friendship, but maybe here, maybe I want a picture of a dog. Watch what I can do. because I'm going to show you another AI feature. You know, to add any kind of media, so photos, videos, or audio, you need to click the media button. When you click the media button, you get the editor. That's this whole strip right here. And now you can add your own photos, videos, or audio. You can add them from your computer as a direct upload. You can access them through Google, through Word, or you can use one of the bazillion, not a number, but there's a lot, everybody, of the Adobe Express stock photos, videos, or audios. And because these are owned by Adobe Express, these are all free for you to use. So there are no copyright image issues at all. But maybe I'm just going to put dogs, and I want photos here. Okay, and I'm going to click this one. I love this photo. I love these different dogs, but I don't want the background. Watch what I can do. This is another amazing AI feature. When you click on a picture, just like when you click on anything in Adobe Express, you can edit it. When I click on this, look at, I get AI features that come up. I can remove the background. I can erase something, remove an object, or insert. I want to remove this background. Watch this. Click on it. We're going to give it a minute. Look at it, took the background off. So now I can add this. Maybe I want to add this to the bottom. Maybe I want to take these, kind of make this, arrange this a little bit, make it bigger. Dogs welcome. But that ability to remove the background is incredible. All right. So that was another one of those AI features that I wanted to show you, was remove background. And you can do that with any picture you have, any picture your students have. So you can do that even if they upload a picture of themselves, but it's a weird background, they can remove that. It's awesome. It really, really is. So scrolling down again, we talked about text effects. We talked about how to generate an image. This one always cracks me up. How to generate a template and how to insert an object. So let's see how to insert an object. We're going to take this picture. Okay, this is just a Monet painting. If any of you like Monet, I probably, shouldn't do this with a Monet picture, but we won't tell them. To get started, brush over an area of the image. So let's do it right here. Okay, now what would we like to see there? Let's put a watering can in there. Watch what happens. I always feel bad making people wait for the magic, but let's see. Look at that. And now I have a watering can in there in my picture. And I want you to notice the way it looks. It's in there. I can't move it around, but look at this. There are other ones as well. And it even adds the shadow in there as well. So it's just another fantastic AI feature, but something that hopefully your students can use and play around with in order to make whatever they're creating more their own. And then you can discard it. You can keep it. It'll save it as a new image. Okay. You can keep going. You can add more, whatever you want to do.
So if you open that in the project, then is it ever editable, or is it always just there?
So now if I click on it, I can remove it if I want to remove it, but I can't move it around now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Of course. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a few minutes to go in and play with some of those features that I just showed you. When we come back, I'm going to show you a couple other features. I'm going to show you another activity. But for now, I'd like you to go in and try to play with these features. Play with the text effects, the generate image, the template, and the insert object. You can either start a new project like I did. So you could just hit the plus sign and just hit, I always like poster. I feel like that's a real basic one where I can just add images and play around. Or you can start here for generate image, or when you scroll, you can start playing around just in these boxes. So I'm going to set my timer for 10 minutes. We'll come back at 10 past the hour. I'm going to show you a couple more things for Gen AI. And I hope you have a great time playing. So I'm going to mute myself and stop sharing my screen. Whoops, see if there are any questions that I can answer for folks. And we'll come back together in about 10 minutes. Wanted to make sure that I put that recording on again. It sounded like I was kind of keeping up with the chat and answering some questions. And it sounded like you guys are having some real fun with this, and we're really finding some great ways to either integrate this into your room, or it sounds like some of you already have. And that it just makes me so happy, because I think that this is such a fun part of AI, when I think sometimes when we think about AI and chatbots and things like that, it's an amazing tool, but I think sometimes there are some things about it that can also make us a little nervous. So I love with the generative, I don't know why that word is tricky for me to say, but it is. But the AI in Adobe Express, Adobe Express really says it's AI with guardrails, because the artists at Adobe Express work extremely hard to make sure that what students can generate is appropriate. So they are constantly making sure that, because we know our students are tricky. I have 3 children. I know how tricky they are, but that no matter what words they put in that search, they are only going to get an image that is appropriate. I don't know if you noticed, but when I was trying to write slime and slimy, when I was trying to get my my name to have slime on it, it actually, if you saw the little red bar down the bottom, it said that I had entered a term that Firefly deemed unacceptable. So it even picked up on that, even though I wasn't trying to be inappropriate with slimy, I promise. We're going to take a look at now is an activity that is actually available for all of you to do, but also for you to have your students do. This can be found in educator resources, which I'm going to show you right now. And this activity is creating a Gen AI paper doll character for a literary character. I'm going to show you in educator resources. I'm going to flip right now back to my home screen. Here we are in the home screen. And educator resources can be found on your dashboard right at the very bottom. Now, these are all quick projects that you can practice yourself, or you can show your students. If we scroll right here, we see these are guided activities, and these are guided because there are actually videos that talk you and your students through this. So I'm going to click on this one, and I want to show you what this is. This is really cool. And I don't know if we're going to have time to do the whole activity now, but I wanted to show it to you. So here is the activity. What I love about these guided activities is that they all come with videos. So listen for just a second.
In this project, you will use generative AI to create a graphic representing a literary character, author, or other noteworthy person as a paper doll. You will learn to write prompts that help you to utilize the Generate Image generative AI feature to create.
And I'm just going to pause right there, because it talks you and your students through every single step, and it gets them practicing using all of those AI features, but also all of the other features in Adobe Express. And there are tons of these projects. I'm going to pause for a minute because, Glenn, hopefully you don't mind that I'm going to answer your question for everyone, but this might be a question that other people have. Glenn had put in the chat that he doesn't have educator resources. And there's a reason why this might be. And I actually get asked this question a lot, so this is really good. If you don't see educator resources right here, it might be because your account is logged in as a student account. Simple way to change that is if you watch my icon or my cursor, if you go over here and you find your little icon right up here in the circle and you click on it, these are your settings. If you scroll down to where it says settings right here, click on settings, and then see at the bottom, I'm going to scroll, but it says role settings. If you go over here and it says I'm a student, and I'm guessing that might be what yours says, change it to I'm an educator, X out, and then refresh your page. And hopefully then you're going to see educator resources. And Glenn, definitely let me know if that works. Just throw it in the chat. But I'm thinking that's why. Sometimes when we log on, either we're logged into a student account or, oh, good. I'm glad it worked. Beautiful. Whew. It can happen, but it's really, really easy to fix. So I'm super glad. So now you see those educator resources. So in the educator resources, again, if I scroll down, let me go back there now that I'm sure everyone can see it. These are all things that you can do. You can practice yourself, but you can also have your students practice. So it's really great. Also in this educator resource page, there are templates for every subject. So no matter what you teach, these are more activities you can practice. And down at the bottom, in case you weren't aware, these are actually lightning learning classes about all of these topics. So if you want to learn more about it, you can click into these lightning learning courses. And again, only available to educators. I'm going to go back to my home screen because since this is all about generative AI, I want to show you something really fun, and it's the giant animate your voice right here. If I click on this, you can see this is the last one I did. I was playing around with it the other day, but you can actually, your students can find a character or make a character. All right. Maybe today I'll do Truffles the bunny. They can find a background. So they can find if you're ever learning about habitats, if you're learning about, different environments. Maybe I'm going to put my little bunny in a winter thing. And then you can click on size. So if this is something that you students want to post, they can, but then watch what can happen. Hello, welcome to my digital portfolio. I'm excited for you to take a look at my work. Now, watch what happens with the AI. And as you know, it takes a minute, but what it does is it actually computes lip syncing and head motions, which if you've ever seen me in real life, I actually talk with my body a lot, my hands, my head, but watch, it's almost done uploading. And I'll play it for you. Okay, are you ready? Here we go. Hello, welcome to my digital portfolio. I'm excited for you to take a look at my work. I just used digital portfolio because I taught a digital portfolio one the other day. And that was a fun way to introduce it. But that's under animate your voice. But students can animate any characters. This is just adding your voice to one. So that's a real fun way to introduce AI to your students as well. So the last thing that I would like to show you today doesn't really have to do with AI, but it is a new feature in Adobe Express that I wanted to make sure that I showed you. Here we have the new classroom feature. Okay, so if you click on the classroom feature, let me click on it. You now have the ability to create a classroom with your students. And within that classroom, to assign them certain work. Creating a class is very easy. You click on Create Class, you enter this information, and when you're done, you're going to get an icon like this. And when you click on it, you can click Add Students, and you get this class code that your students can use to join your class. So you can blast this up on a screen. You can, take a screenshot of it and send the picture. You can copy the class invite link, or if you have Google Classroom, you can sync it to Google Classroom. Once you have a classroom, you can actually even create an assignment. So you can send out things for your students to do. Things like generate a paper doll or create a book cover. So definitely you don't have to do it this way, but it's also a really fun way to do some things and to have your students all be practicing the same skills at the same time. So this one's really, really fun. I love this, using a graphic organizer to talk about yourself, right? So all students, you would assign this by just hitting the assign button, and then all students would get this assignment sent to them, and they would have to fill this in. They'd have to add their picture. They'd have to fill all these in, right? And then they can download it. They can share it just by getting a shareable link or storing it in Google. But it's a great way to build community, right? So that is, going back here again to my home screen, that is under Classrooms if that's something that you want to do. All right. What we're going to do now is we have about 10 minutes, 9 minutes left. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to go back to my final slide. And this is where you are going to go in and get your badge. Now, you are going to actually, let me do this because I'm going to drop the link in the chat for you. I just had to get out of there for a minute. Oh, you're teachers, so I know you get it as I talk to myself. So click on the link in the chat. When you click on the link in the chat, it is going to bring you, hopefully, yes, to a screen that looks like this. Now, I have already done this, so mine is going to look a little bit different. But right here, your button should say Enroll Now. You are going to click on that button that says Enroll Now. I'm going to bring you back here for a minute. So you should see an Enroll Now. Click on that. Then you're going to get a screen that has a video on it and some other things. If you scroll to the bottom of that screen, you're going to see a little button here, a blue button in the lower right-hand corner that says Next. Click on that. Do the same thing on the upcoming screens. Scroll to the bottom, click on the blue Next button when it's lit up, and then at the end, you're going to see some confetti. You don't need to go through the whole training to get your certificate because you all were with me today. All right. So then there's a couple of questions it's going to ask you. You're going to fill that in, and then you're going to get a badge and certificate sent to your email address. So don't worry if it doesn't ask for your information. It's linked to your email address after you complete that survey. It's not really a survey. It's just collecting your information to get you the badge. All right. But no one's in the chat, so I'm guessing no one has any questions with this. So that's great. I'm going to give you a couple minutes to do that. And then for the last 5 minutes, I'm going to open it up to any questions you might have. And while you're doing that, I'm going to look actually in the chat.
I have a question.
Sure.
I used the Bitly. I got there. I had the you're enrolled now. Now
Yep.
expand the window.
Yep.
And I hit next, but I never got any questions. So.
It shouldn't give you any questions. Just keep hitting next until you get to the last screen. If it didn't ask you for any survey questions, then it's automatically linked to your email and you should be fine.
Okay, it just said congratulations, you have successfully completed the course.
You are perfect then, Susan. That's exactly what it should do. Yes.
That's all I need. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. All right, cool. Thank you.
Of course, you're very welcome. Yeah, you might not get if you're already logged in, don't even worry about this survey part. You're just going to click next, see the confetti, and you're golden.
Okay. Do you know, like I taught and used Photoshop, Adobe Photoshop for
Yeah.
years. And when I teach painting, the artistic cutout filter in Adobe Photoshop's really useful.
Okay.
Are there any filters in Adobe Express?
Yes. And I can kind of show you. Hold on one
Okay.
second. Let me jump back into the platform. So I'm not 100% sure what you're looking
Well,
for.
okay, like the artistic filter will take a black and white and it will turn it into like five different gray tones. So
Yeah.
like white, black, and maybe a light
Okay.
gray, middle gray, a dark gray. So it's simplifying the form down to these basic spaces
Oh,
of value, which
oh, very cool.
which can really help people when they're learning how to paint to see the different
Yep.
shapes of value. And I just didn't know. I mean, when you had us playing, I actually asked the AI generative image tool to create a camera using the Adobe Photoshop artistic filter cutout, and it sort of did it.
Well, if you go into, so I'm wondering if this might be what you're looking for, Susan. So I went to learn
Okay.
and then I went to photography.
Okay. Yeah.
And I wonder if this had to add effects and adjustments, maybe.
Yeah, it might be in there. I wonder if it has, I can't, it's hard for me to see that, but
I
yeah.
know. Well, it might be easier to look at. Yeah. So look at clicking effects brings up your basic color options like
Yeah.
grayscale and darken and more advanced choices such as dual tone. So I wonder if you
Yes, it's
might have,
probably in
yeah.
there.
So just to show
Oh,
you again where I found it, I went to learn
okay.
and then so on my dashboard, and then I went up here to the top to photography.
Photography. Okay.
Yes. And maybe, and then
And
this,
then to effects. Okay,
yeah. So
perfect.
that hopefully that will help you.
Yeah, because I'm thinking they could take their own photographs and put them in, and then use the effects that like
Yeah.
simplify it before they paint.
Oh, that would be amazing.
So at least they're still working with their own work, you
Yeah,
know.
exactly. Oh, that would be great. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Of
Thank you.
course
This
you're,
was
oh my
very
gosh.
fun. It
Yeah,
was fun.
you're very welcome. I know this is my favorite session. A couple of you put in to the chat that you didn't get a badge or you don't know how to sign in to get a badge. The badge is going to be sent to your email. So all you're going to see online is the confetti and you did it. But the badge will come to your own email address. So you'll get an email. It's usually pretty quick. And then that's what you'll click on and you'll see your badge when you're done.
I assume we still have to go into Vector and fill in the feedback though, right?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
believe
yeah.
Kathleen, yes, wants you to
Okay.
do all of that. And Kathleen, I don't know if you're still here. If you are, feel free to jump back in. But yes, um,
Okay.
yeah,
Thank you.
you're very, very welcome. Does anyone else have any other questions for the Gen AI or anything on the platform that I can answer for you?
This is just going to be fun to try in class.
Yeah. Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is really cool.
Yeah, Nichelle, I totally agree with you. And I mean, I'm a teacher. I have three kids of my own. I like the fact that I feel like this is safe.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
it's fun,
Yeah.
and it gets them thinking creatively. And I I mean, there's not a lot of time kids have to have fun in school. And I feel like we need to bring that back when we can, because that's how we get them.
Especially with the holidays coming up, this is a great activity, especially those couple days that we have before Thanksgiving or
Oh
the
my
couple
goodness.
days before Christmas
Yes.
break.
Yes. Yes. Have them practice their literacy skills. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I
But
just, oh,
it,
go ahead.
I'm sorry, Sean. If I didn't get confetti, does that mean I don't get a badge? I didn't
No,
get.
well, did you go all the way to the end, Michelle? Like, did you keep clicking next until the end?
I thought I did, but it was telling me when I was trying to log in that I already had an account. So I'm wondering if it's just reading my existing account and doesn't see me as a new person. I don't know. I'll
Okay.
try again.
Yeah, try again. And you know what? I'm going to put my email in the chat. And if you can't get it, send me an email and
Okay.
I'm going to put it in the chat right now, if I can spell it.
I want my badge.
I don't blame you, but your badge will be sent to your email.
Okay.
Sean, oh, and then I forgot to put the at because I'm talking and typing, and I should know myself well enough to know that I can't do that. So
Yeah,
there's
it says I enrolled in.
if it says enrolled and you need to like continue, you can click that blue button again and it will kind of pick you back up where you left off.
Join
And
for free.
yep,
Okay. All right.
yeah. But if you can't find it, send me an email and I'll work some magic and help you with it.
All right. Thank you.
You're very welcome. All right, everyone.
Hey,
I
Sean, if they've already signed in to Adobe Express, then would they not have a problem, or is that because they haven't signed in yet? Is that
they
why they're not?
should, if they're already signed in, then they shouldn't have a problem. So maybe if Nichelle isn't signed in,
No, I was.
Oh,
And
you
it was
were.
saying that you've already signed in. You already have an account. So it was just weird. But I'm
yeah,
on my phone because my
it
PC, the Wi-Fi went out, but I was able to get on my
okay.
phone. So maybe it's just something I'm
So
not seeing on my
yeah,
phone.
so
Yeah,
maybe
it
that's
could be. Yeah,
what it is. I was gonna
yeah,
say,
Yeah.
only if you're signed in already and with your JCPS credentials on your
Yeah.
book, then it's okay. So,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
yeah. It
I
could
was
be
signed
that.
in with my credentials. So
Yeah. Thank you, Sean, so much.
Oh,
We
you're so,
appreciate
it's
you.
so good.
yeah. Oh,
All right.
thank you.
Yes, it
Yeah,
was.
this is a lot of fun. I just want to thank you all. If you're celebrating Thanksgiving next week, have a wonderful holiday, and I'm looking forward to seeing all of you next month.
Yes, and also JCPS, you don't need the badge to get PD credit, so we get a little fixated on that. So I just want
Oh.
to reiterate